For those pulling for Wiccan, you might have also gotten this sick Loki variant or even Pixie. And if you got Pixie, you're thinking to yourself, is Pixie good card? Well, I've been playing with her a while, and I'll say she's fun. I think when she pops off hard, and when she misses, the decks feel kinda meh. But this is a game at the end of the day, so if you have her and you want to play with her, here is a fun deck that you're going to enjoy. We're pixies. Check out our mad wicked mixies. I'm so sorry, I had to do it. But pixie decks in general are big cards that you want to play out early, and a bunch of small cards that you can swap costs with. You can try her in a Beta Ray build deck like this, or high Evo decks like this, but my favorite deck is this one here. The little cards are Sunspot, Nebula, Spider-Ham, and Ebony Maw, and then the big cards are She-Hulk, Magneto, and Infinite. Yes, I've played a 1-cost Infinite and it feels really good. So a lot of these picks may be head scratchers, but you make them work with War Machine. War Machine is a big card in this deck. It lets you play Ebony Maw after turn 3 or play cards behind it after turn 3. It lets you play Infinite without skipping a turn. This leads to some pretty big turn 6 plays. But if you don't get Pixie, it's essentially a deck where you float energy with Sunspot and Hope Summers and plays big cards like She-Hulk and Infinite, which is straightforward. But my favorite lines in the deck are, even without Pixie, you can play War Machine on turn 4 on top of Hope Summers. And then on turn 5, it lets you put down Infinite, which is a sick play. Then obviously Shang-Chi is very prevalent, and this deck is very susceptible to Shang-Chi, so I have Armor. Then the last inclusion, I am a firm believer this should be in every Pixie deck. It is Mobius M. Mobius. You play Pixie and then Mobius, and you guarantee you aren't drawing a 6-cost armor. Your armor will still cost 2, and your discounted cards will still be discounted. Plus, Mobius is pretty underrated, with how many decks in the meta have Loki, Mockingbird, or even something like Death or Swarm in them. Quick subs to make are Nebula. You can just pick up your favorite 1-cost. You can also consider Magic in this deck, but I always want to play Mobius or Summer over Magic, so it's just a thought. And then War Machine, you could always just drop generally good cards like Enchantress and Iron Lad, or even Coal Obsidian for him. But if you do run this deck without him, you have to take out Ebony Maw. It just doesn't work anymore. But yeah, let's get into the games. So this video I play in Conquest mode because this deck isn't insanely sweaty, but also because I'm just burnt out after Deadpool League and I need to chill before the Jeff League grind begins. So the first game we go up against GG Mark Lee, and I get a great start with Nebula into Pixie, and we draw Armor, which is huge because they can't kill their own Wolverine now. And we also ham the Killmonger, so our deck is just being really annoying right now. And if I ham something like a Null or a Deadpool, that's obviously a snap angle. I also like to note we drew a 2-cost Magneto, which is insane. So that's casually in our hand, and I play a War Machine for tempo, and hope Infinite is what we draw next turn. But we don't get it, and we play Sauron and Magneto down. Going into the final turn, we are up big. But our hand's about as bad as it gets. We have really low rolled with 1-cost She-Hulk and Infinite sitting at the bottom of our deck. This is why Mobius is so important. But we play down Maw, and I guess wrong, and they nulled the left lane. I was really hoping it was going to be on the right, but that's fine. The next round, we're looking to get our payback. I get Pixie once again, but this time it's different. I get Mobius to play down on turn 3 after my Pixie, so our draws aren't as bad. And my hand is still a little underwhelming, so we play War Machine. We can get out our Ebony Maw and our Sunspot and just barely dodge the Killmonger. And we have our 1-power Magneto for the final turn. And after some serious calculations on my end, the final turn looks like this. And yeah, that was a close one. Me and Mark went back and forth, but eventually he came out on top with the final Mindscape game. But I'm not going to end the video at just one conquest run. I get a second one queued up. We go against Duel and my ham hits the Doc Ock, so right away I know that this is going to be a clog deck. And what do you know? I get to play Pixie down on turn 2. So we draw a 1-cost She-Hulk, which is massive, and we snap, slamming that down on Baxter along with my armor. But they drop the acid arrow there, which starts to clog me, and I'm getting nervous. Athena can definitely scale bigger than She-Hulk, so I gotta be careful. And I have a weak turn 4, dropping Hope mid, but I get War Machine down on turn 5 to play the Infinite. And I draw into Ma, which is amazing, so I'm going to be able to play Ebony Ma and Infinite on my final turn. And this is what the deck does best. And yeah, we actually get insanely close with a tie on the right and winning by only 2 in the other lanes. And then the final game, I'll show you my ideal line if we don't hit Pixie, because in all the other games I've been hitting Pixie, but that doesn't always happen. We get our Hope Summers down into a War Machine, which means on turn 6 I'm dropping down the big boy Infinite. And still in a losing position, this leads me to a very tricky final turn, and here's how it plays out. Yeah, this time I close it out. We get our own Mindscape victory and we secure the win. So yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be passing on Wiccan. They're going to be passing on the Spotlight and might not even get Pixie. But if you don't and you pick up Pixie, you should feel really good about that, because I started to record this video and I was just going to do a few games, but I actually played a ton. I think Pixie is so much fun, and hopefully you're good at gambling. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!